message and send out the tweets. And then take a drink, because there's always some amount of doubt that I'm actually streaming. Alright. It actually looks like it is. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is June 15th, and this is the June 15th TextWest Devstream. So, today we are going to be basically reevaluating the entirety of the wizard cutscene in the castle. So, we actually have a couple of things I need to do before I can show you the current state of affairs, as I am currently working on it. Let's see here. That's interesting, and I'm pretty sure that should not be how it is, but it is. Oh, that's why. There we are. Don't know what happened there. Weird. Sorry, I did a test run of this scene right before I started streaming, and like literally right before I started streaming, and for some reason I guess that texture was not assigned, so everything was just solid white. Very confusing. In any case, so to show you where we are right now, and okay, thought for a second that I might have forgotten to turn on my. Seriously, I turned you off. Well, never let it be said that Pro Builder isn't persistent. In any case, so currently the wizard cutscene is adequate at best. It functions. It conveys the narrative. I forgot how loud that was. The narrative for the story. Namely that... Oh, seriously? I must have forgotten it for one thing. Hold on. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Oh, of course I made it a separate thing. Let's see here. Oh, fine. I guess I have to stop to do that. Albedo. You need to go here. There we go. Alright, let's try that again. One more time. So, currently the cutscene is fairly basic. Oh my gosh. Freaking Pro Builder. You know, you get into the room, you run up to the king, and the wizard shows up, turns the king to stone, and runs away. Giant door opens up. It's very loud. There are some problems with this setup, though. So, currently there's not a whole lot to do, for one. You know, we do at least get text displaying or describing what is going on, which is good because that was actually a major point of contention before. And some people had no idea anything was happening at all. But this is also kind of not a great solution. So, it's hard to put into words exactly some of the flaws with this, because it is certainly a flawed presentation. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There's magic, but only if you're like really close to it. In any case, so one of the problems is I don't like that you just kind of have to sit here and let something happen. It's kind of boring. So I would prefer it if we got something a little bit more interactive, even if it was, you know, not actually interactive. It just appeared to be. So there are a couple of things I'm thinking of doing for tackling this particular scene. The first big thing is, and it kind of sucks that we have to stop and replay to actually see it. Currently, when you approach the king, there's a wall that shrinks, well not shrinks, but grows from the ground basically. Oh my goodness. It must not store its data properly until I close and reopen Unity, which I might do once we start coding, just so that I don't have to keep closing that thing. Anyway, so you'll notice that there's not a wall or anything right now, and what happens is when we get close enough to the king, the magic wall is going to spring up. However, if you're running at a fast enough speed, you can actually, depending on the amount of lag that happens, it's possible to basically position yourself above the wall, and the wall will just grow up and fling you up into the ceiling, which I think would actually kill you from the fall damage when you actually hit the ground, and that is problematic. So there's just a lot of issues with the actual way that this is um, set up, and one of the most frustrating parts about it actually is the amount of lag that hits you as soon as you actually get close to the king. So this is going to be rather frustrating because I'm going to have to keep closing that window, aren't I? And to show you what I mean, and hopefully the stream can convey this, because I'm pretty sure that this is more than a 60, or I guess a 30 frame, or 30th of a frame, or no, whatever. 1 frame in 30 seconds. There's an intense lag spike. I might also mute the audio so we don't have to keep hearing the sound effects. So when I get close, if you focus on, say, one of the particle systems, so like the fire, you'll notice an intense lag for like half a second, I want to say, maybe a full second. There. And that is not caused, by the magic wall growing up. Instead, it's actually caused by these magic barriers being enabled, because they're not just enabled, they are also updating the global illumination around them, and I guess updating all of that GI is causing some lag. So it's a little odd because it didn't always do that, and I don't exactly know what changed to cause it, but I'm guessing it was just something on the Unity backend. But either way, that's unacceptable. So we have to fix that problem, and that's going to be fun, question mark. And we also have a couple of other things to basically consider when doing this scene. One is this room with a laptop, or at the very least my own personal Mac, which is a MacBook Pro laptop. Global illumination just does not render, and I'm guessing that's because of a shader issue, or potentially basically a graphics API issue. So that means that this room is incredibly dark on my laptop, because you don't have this global illumination coming off and casting purple here. Instead, it's basically like pitch black over here. Makes it incredibly difficult to read, and you can already see that it's kind of dark here already, just on this monitor, particularly in the middle after we've put out all the torches, which, to be fair, makes sense. But those torches, even when they're lit, yep, and again, we're gonna have to stop and then replay. Even when those torches are lit, they're actually using global illumination to be lit. So they're not lights or anything like that. Like these torches are actually using point lights. Hey Garrett, welcome back. Today we are basically going to redo the wizard cutscene in the castle, because PopCon is coming up and I need to have some major changes for the demo. And this is something I've been meaning to do for a while. So I'm basically right now talking through all of the weak points about pretty much this entire room for laptop setups, or at the very least for Mac. Because on PC, as you can see, it looks okay. The global illumination works fine on the what are they called, candelabras here? I guess they're called just, pretty sure they're called candelabras, but they might just be called torches now. I don't know. But all of this global illumination that you can see here, this orange light coming off that sort of illuminates the area around it, although admittedly not too well on the dark blue carpet, is non-existent in the Mac build, or at the very least on the Mac version, the Mac build that runs on my computer, which again could be a hardware thing, but keep in mind that I'm trying to make this game run very well on toasters. So the fact that this room is pretty much half as bright on Mac as it is on on PC is troubling and very frustrating. Funny idea, put the text LED on objects that are far away. That actually would be pretty funny. Although it would be super hard to make it shaped like the object. feel like that would actually be illegible. Like, imagine if that wall said LOD. I bet I could work that in, though. That would actually be really funny. I should make that an Easter egg somewhere. Um, anyway, so again, currently, and I'm going to try to see if I can get this, because it's very tricky, and it's not 100%. But if I can get in here right on the angle, nope. Okay, maybe if I come at it from the sides, I can show you that weird bug that the wall flings you up into the ceiling. And that, I'm guessing, is because of the lag that we experience for that 1 second approximately. Freaking Pro Builder. Your character technically would keep moving during that lag, and it's possible that they actually get positioned before they're pushed back by the wall. So, pretty much this whole cutscene needs to be... There it is! Oh, good, I landed on the wall. I was not aiming for that, but I did it. So I can just keep walking up here. And if I wanted to, I could just hop down in here. Oh, no, I can't. I made it a box collider. I forgot about that. Okay, so I can just walk around on top of this. But yeah, you can see how this is problematic. This is not an ideal situation. So I would kind of like to change how this is all being played out. And now I drop. And that's going to require a fairly significant rework of this scene, but by significant I don't mean like large amounts of man hours making new assets and all of that stuff. No, I largely just mean changing the positioning and sort of composition of the scene, as well as, I guess, putting lights on these. Because, again, like, it's pitch black in here once those lights go out, which is, I really wish I had a better solution for that. And I might have one, actually, with the ideas that I was thinking about. It's going to be a difficult road to get it to look right. In any case. So, first things first, to talk you through some of the points that I'm thinking, at least to start off. Instead of having a wall spring up, I would actually like it to, so let's say you're coming up to the king. When you come up here, instead of the wall springing up from the bottom, it would actually be kind of nice if one of these windows broke and a lightning strike came in, and wherever the lightning strikes is where the wizard will show up. You know, it's a lot more dramatic that way. And once we have that, we'll actually be able to have the wizard push you back. So imagine I'm going faster than this because backing up is slow. But push you back, I don't know, say all the way back here maybe. And once that happens, then he'll actually start turning the king to stone. So by the time you get over here, he'll be done, and then he'll just disappear. Simple as that. So it makes the scene a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more interactive. It makes it feel a lot more faster paced. It makes it feel faster paced. And it, fixes that little problem that I have with being able to jump onto the side of the wall. Which technically means that I think that people have been able to do that in the demo that's up on the website. So that's probably problematic. Faster paced. Yeah. So there are definitely problems with this. And like I said, there it is. Sad thing is now I kind of enjoy that, but it's unacceptable. So yeah, instead of having this wall be here, we're gonna have the wizard show up, push you back to the other end of the hall, and then have him turn the king to stone while you're on the other end of the hall trying to get to them. And then we'll have him disappear pretty much as soon as you get to the podium. That way it feels a lot more, how should I put it? Interactive. So we can also have, instead of that charge spell, maybe another lightning strike that blows open this door. Again, that's another nice way to guide the player through here, because they'll see the lightning strike go through here. That way they'll be able to follow it. So it's a fairly significant scene change, but I do think that it will be for the better. So let's go ahead and stop playing. And let's get started on that. This is going to be difficult. I think the most difficult part about this is actually going to be getting the window to shatter. And that's not, the worst thing ever. It's just something that's going to be different. I've never actually done sort of mesh shattering before. And I doubt, admittedly, that we're going to get that done today, the mesh shattering part. We can probably get most of the other stuff set up for the scene, but I doubt we'll be able to get one of these windows to break. And I do think that he's going to come in through the purple window. Although man, that's kind of annoying. So, I have 3 windows here, and each one has a Latin word on it. I'm trying to figure out which one would be the best one. Top one is Dominus, left one is Draco for dragon, and right one is Fulgur for lightning. It'd be really nice to have, or was it German? I don't remember. In any case, I don't know if I should have the wizard come in through the lightning window or for the like god window. Because the god window is red, but the lightning window spells lightning. Okay, I got a weakness for that, so I'm going to do that one. Okay. Also, we're going to have to figure out how to do a lightning particle, which is something I've not done before. Ha-ha! Alright. Let's see here. Oh, good. Yeah, that. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's see here. I need to open up my window, Cinema Machine. No, not Cinema Machine. We want Cinema Suite. Cinema Director and Director. Which did nothing. There it is. Alright, so this is the cutscene currently. Close some of this stuff so I don't need it. So this is the entire wizard cutscene from when he shows up to when the king turns to stone, when he disappears, all that stuff. And it's largely probably going to be... Man. So this is 35 seconds roughly. And in that 35 seconds right now, you can't really do much. So the new version is probably, I'm guessing, going to be 20 seconds long. It's going to be a little more... Well, actually, you know what? This is going to be an interesting thing. It's probably not going to be a set length. We might actually cheat a little bit. So, the wizard appearing and blowing you all the way across the hall will probably be, I'm guessing, like 5 seconds. And it should take about 5 more seconds to get from one end of the hall to the other. But in that time, what we'll probably do is have the king's color basically lerping from gold to, gray for stone until you reach him. And then once you reach him, he'll be done. He'll be completely turned to stone, and the wizard can disappear. Now, we do have a question about what to do there. Because I would like to have, again, the wizard should probably disappear by blowing this door open. It's very important that that be done. It's a question of how to do so. So I'm going to play this out a little bit, sort of mock it up. Alright. Oh, by the way, Garrett, I'm sorry. I forgot to ask. How are you today? Open. I really need to tone that audio down. It's so loud. Alright, so without actually triggering this, I'd say once you get to about here, maybe, the wizard should come in through the window, probably stand right next to the king, and then you'll get blown back here. So the door will be closed at that point, so let's go ahead and close it. So the door will be closed. You'll probably be right about here, I'm guessing. Let's say, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and I triggered it. So about 4 seconds instead of 5. So I guess I haven't really let you guys see exactly what this cutscene looks like. Because right now, this is what it is. This is all the cutscene is. I guess I'll get on the same height, so it makes a little more sense. Wizard shows up, puts up, or barrier shows up, wizard shows up, wizard turns the king to stone, wizard moves into position, wizard laughs. Magic explodes, knocks open the door, you can progress. So, good, got a bunch of errands done, just trying to decide what to work on. Well, alright. Sounds like productivity. Uh, let's see here. So that's the current cutscene, and it's, as we said, roughly about 35 seconds long from start to finish. But the new cutscene needs to address a couple of the issues with that. One, the boredom. People don't like just sitting here for 35 seconds, so we need to make that a little bit more interesting. So again, acting this out. Let's see. So go here. And there are other possibilities that I can think of. My general policy for this has been kind of to take the Half-Life route for the cutscenes, so you never really lose control. And early on, and sort of now in the back of my mind, I still always think about having the wizard actually pick you up and throw you, um, or like confine you while holding you. But I just feel like that's so. I've tried that in the past for this cutscene, and it not the actual holding part, but something similar, and it always it confuses people, and they don't know what to do, and they just kind of don't like it. So I'm gonna avoid that as much as possible. Um, and instead, we're gonna have to figure out how exactly we want this to function. So act this out real quick. So let's pretend that obviously nothing has happened yet, and I'm just running along, got the torches lit and everything. Get to about here, and then we're going to have, well, maybe I should get to like right about here, like just out of range of the king. Um, and then we'll have lightning come in, and maybe the lightning can actually blow you back. Although that might be a dangerous prospect. I really hope that I don't get it so that it flings you hard enough to kill you. That's possible, technically. In any case. So lightning comes in, hits you, flings you back. Maybe to only here. So you can see stuff. Okay. And then if you try to approach again, basically that's when the second wave will come out. It won't be lightning or anything. Instead, it would be a similar thing to the wall, except it would be expanding outwards, and it would just push you back all the way to here. Once that's done, we will have the wizard start turning the king to stone. So, and actually, before I run up there, so as soon as you get knocked back to here, we'll say that the king starts getting turned to stone. And as you get closer, basically he'll lerp from yellow to gray. And once you reach, I'm going to say here, so these torches, then the king will be fully petrified. The wizard would laugh and then make his exit. And then the real question here is, I like that flow of events, but the real question now is I need to make it so that the player can't get up and try to interact with the wizard. Because I don't have anything for the wizard, really, and I don't really want the player to be able to interact with them, so, or with him, I guess. So I need to make it so that he can either push them back if they get too close, with like another small pulse of a wall. So it would basically just keep pushing you back if you tried to get close to him. And then once he's had his laugh, he would just charge up his spell and then leave again. Okay. I like that flow of events. So let's try that. Okay. We're also going to need a lightning particle. I don't even... jeez. I don't even know how to do that. Lightning particle. We might cheat for now, because I would like the final thing to be lightning, but on the Devstream for the sake of brevity, or I guess not brevity, but progress, I will keep with the current particle effect system, and all that is let me find it. NPCs, wizard, king, casting. All right. I thought that I had it. It must be somewhere else. Under effects. Yeah. So this is the current wizard appear particle. It's like a fountain of magic. We might do that as well. Alternatively, we could do something like the blast. So he just shows up. I guess it doesn't really matter. This is temporary, isn't it? Just trying to figure out how it's going to look and feel, because it's important that it feels like you're getting flung across the room, not just that you are. You actually have to feel like the impact had weight to it. So, man, this is also going to be really, really tough because I can't knock the player over. So we can't do any of those, those scenes that you see in first-person shooters where like someone knocks you out and then your character's on their side and you see their hands as they try to get back up, all that stuff. We can't do that. We can only push back and not rotate the player. So let's see, what could we do? Well, all right. I guess the other question is, do I need to try and dynamically place the wizard? Also, I guess I should apologize in advance. A lot of today is going to be me sort of thinking out loud how to do this scene properly and sort of trying small things. This is probably going to be a 1 or 2 day, well, probably 2 or 3 day Devstream type deal, just because of how picky I am when it comes to these scenes, and the fact that I can't control the player's positioning, and we need to cut the time pretty much in half, while making the scene feel more interactive. So I guess actually to start off, we could start easy, and instead of focusing on getting the player to be knocked back, what if we start off with something easy, which is going to be getting the king's color to lerp as you get closer. So let's go ahead. I guess I should turn off the wizard again. Turn you down. All right, select the castle quarter manager. Environment. All right, I'm gonna create C# script. What do I want to call this script? Position lerping, I guess. I don't really have a good position lerping. I don't really have a good thing for this. I guess we'll do position color lerping. This could be a useful class later on if I make it more generic, but for now I think it's just going to be hardwired to be for color. So currently the king's petrification is an animation that it plays. Oh my goodness, I already turned off show update notifications. I get it, Pro Builder. There is an update. Let me go ahead and select the king. Show you what I mean. If we go over here to animation, I guess it's going to be on the model. You can see that we have a petrify animation. And if I focus up on the king here and scrub this, all it does is fade its color renderers, or its mesh renderers color from yellow to gray. But we can actually drive this, instead of doing it through animation, we can drive it based on position data of the player. So let's go ahead and stop that. I suppose the king's... Actually, does the king animation for idle... Is that got breathing motion? Yes, it does. Okay, that's good. So Petrify also has color information. Actually, no, it doesn't. It doesn't even have position information. It doesn't need that. because he's not moving. So there we go. Let's go ahead and stop playing. All right, let's go ahead and do position color lerping. Reload. Close the woods layout stuff. Position color lerping. All right. So I suppose what we'll want to do for this, because it's specific to this level right now, we're going to say public, I'm going to say renderer. I probably can actually call it, so I'm going to say using TM Pro, that's for Text Mesh Pro. I think we can just say Text Mesh Pro, and we'll make it an array. I don't know, should I call it? We'll call it labels. All right. Public color, start color, it's a new color, 1F, 1F, 0F. I know that is not the actual final color that it's going to be, but whatever. Public color, end color is equal to new color, I'm guessing 0.5 across the board. All right. Private void, and this is where it's going to get interesting. So I need to basically calculate the color of the king based on your position inside a square bound or square bounds. But that color doesn't actually, it's not going to be a perfect lerp. It can't, for example, once it gets halfway to gray, it can't go back to yellow if you back up. So I actually need to do some weird sort of storage here. So we're going to say private float cached index, cached lerp probably, is equal to 0f. We'll go ahead and say, do I want to do this in update? Probably wouldn't hurt. I could make it a coroutine. Update might be fine. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Technically, whenever you start a coroutine in Unity, you generate some garbage, so by moving this to update, I guess I'm avoiding that. But then you have the weird overhead of things that are calling update, so it's, it's the lose-lose and no matter what you do. But, it's not terrible, I guess. In any case, let's go ahead and say... so I need to figure out what my bounds are going to be, and there are a couple of ways I can do that. One, I could make a box collider and basically say once it's been enabled, that's what I was going to do. Private bool, I guess I don't want to call it enabled, initialize is equal to false. I guess we'll say enabled. No, we'll say active. I guess it's a bool, so it should be called isActive. So we're going to say down in update, if is active, excuse me. So if it's active, that's when we're going to actually try to lerp things. But I need to actually figure this out. So let me come over here. Come on, work with me here. Come on, Unity, I believe you. You can compile. Eventually, ProBuilder will also stop needing to be more effective coroutines. I think I might actually own that. Let me check real quick. I definitely remember seeing that. Let's see, do I have it? No, it doesn't look like I have it, but I've definitely looked at it in the past. Unless it goes by a different name, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It was under C's. No, was it under C's? Nope. Okay, so no, I don't have it, but I have not used it. I have not. It looked promising, but I just haven't sat down to actually use it. Let's go ahead and create an empty object. So I can do a box collider here, make it a trigger basically. And what we would do is we would just have it be set up, say, here. And just have this be in the scene as a trigger. And then I could change its size to be something like, I don't know, 50. Okay, that's probably too much. 30. 30 looks about right, actually. Y is 10, I'm going to guess. I probably could make it like 5 and get away with it. Yeah, we'll make it like 10. And Z is probably something like 10 as well. I guess it should probably be 20. Oh, really? 30. All right. 25 then. There we go. Good enough. Just to visualize what I'm talking about. So we could do it this way. I don't actually think I need the collider, though. Instead, what I could probably do is, since we know that this is along the x-axis, I can kind of cheat. Wow, that seems to be a weird thing I keep saying today. I keep saying I'm going to kind of cheat. The dev hangs out in William Cheer's stream often. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, I haven't actually used that asset. I've seen it, but I haven't actually messed around with it at all. Looks promising. So you should try it and tell me if it's any good. So instead of having a whole collider, I think I could actually get away with something like this. Go ahead and position this. It's a little hard to see properly. So I can do something like this where I have essentially two transforms that I'm using. And then I can basically say if the player's position is, or calculate the player's position based on the x value of these two transforms, and then the player's own x value. And then we can just say, okay, what's the lerp value between them, basically. So let's get rid of the box collider. And let's go ahead and do positioning, start color, labels. Let's go ahead and say 4 because it's the king. Okay. I, N, and G. All right. And let's see. Let's go ahead and rename this to, I want to call it front. Start, maybe. Start. And end. We'll call this the color lerp. Alright. Oh wait, I already did that. Go ahead and open this back up again. And then I'm going to add, so reshuffle some of this. Public transform start pose. Public transform end pose. Alright. And then we're going to need a couple of things. First up, let's go ahead and say public void initialize. I want to say is active is equal to true. Public void initialize is active is equal to false. Alright. And while it's active, we're basically just going to say, this is going to be so hard-coded. It kills me to write hard-coded things like this, but I mean, I just need it to do one very specific thing. There's no reason to complicate this. So we're going to say, while this is active, cached lerp is equal to mathf dot max cached lerp, and then mathf dot inverse lerp between, let's see here. So we're going to want to say start pose, oh, what happened? Start pose dot x, end pose dot x. Oh, I gotta say dot position dot x, don't I? Dot x. position.x based on global.hero.transform.position.x. I can probably cache that transform too. So let's go ahead and say private transform hero transform and private transform cached hero transform get return hero transform question mark hero transform colon hero transform is equal to global.get this. Basically, this is what I want. All right, and then we can change this down here to cached hero transform position.x. All right, so that should give me basically a value between 0 and 1 and clamp all of that. So once that's done, we're going to say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than, what did I call them? Labels. Labels.length I plus plus. We're going to say labels I dot, I just want to say color. Yep. That color is equal to color.lerp start color, end color, cached lerp. I'm also going to set cached lerp is equal to 0f here on initialize, just to make sure that it always gets reset. And I think that's largely going to be what we need. So I'm going to put in a little debug thing just to test it for now. So private void, not void, and not private, but public bool initialize on start is equal to false. And then up here we're just going to say if initialize. Wow, that was not at all. I want to do private void start. If initialize on start, initialize. All right, so that'll be good for testing, and that should actually let us do what we want to do. All right, and for funsies, private void on draw gizmos. We're going to say gizmos.draw cube, and then we'll say start pose dot position, and then we'll do vector. I guess I got to do new vector 3, don't I? New vector 3, 1f, 1f, 1f. Simple as that. And we'll also say if start pose is not equal null. Copy that. Do it again for the end pose. End pose. All right. Simple as that. Let that compile. All right. So now we should see little cubes show up here. Oh, I guess I haven't assigned them yet. So give it a second to compile, and then we will see cubes show up there. Ta-da! Yeah, terrible little cubes. Let's see. That's probably good enough, honestly. I don't really care about much else. Let's go ahead and initialize on start. All that should be fine. So we should be able to actually see the king lerp as we enter the room now. Obviously, that won't, affect his animations, but that's fine because we don't really care about that right now. We're just doing the colors. And prepare for loud door sound. All right. So in theory, everything should be initialized. So the king currently, if you squint at the far end of the hall, you can see he's yellow. So he should be lerping to gray, but he is not. not at all. Why is he not doing that? Huh, okay. Apparently I can't do basic lerping math. So that's good. I turned on initialize on start, right? Yes. Well then why? If it's active, is active equal true? Initialize on start, we call initialize. On drop gizmos. Interesting. I guess I'll do this. I wonder if my cache lerp is messed up. Debug.log cached lerp. Okay. Yeah, I've been, for the past week or so, I've been trying to think about what I need to change for the upcoming convention season to try and, show improvements from last year. And there's actually quite a few that have already been made, namely text effects and all of that. We have actual character interactions on the troll now, and geez, Pro Builder, I get it. I know you want me to close Unity and reopen it, but I don't want to do that on the Devstream. We have the troll talking, we have text effects. We're going to redo this scene entirely. Wow, really? Like nothing. Huh. Interesting. I must be adjusting the wrong color. Or the wrong thing, I guess. So let me come up here, because it's clearly lerping. Or at least it should be. Let's see here. You are not doing what you're supposed to do. I wonder why. So let me take a look at this real quick. Labels.color. So maybe we don't want it to be .color. I could have sworn it was just .color. Color gradient, crossfade color, face color, outline colors. Face color property assigned to the material. Huh. No. It should just be color, right? This is the default vertex color assigned to each vertice. Color tags will override. They're not colored, are they? No. No. Surely not. Well, that's... Hold on. Well, let me take a look at this real quick. So, 8-bit font material. Color should just be the vertex color, yeah. I wonder what... Oh, wow. Make it like super wide to fit all of those. I didn't realize those were going off screen. Well, this is a little annoying. It doesn't seem to actually be doing anything. Is his model animated to have its color set? No. Although it's apparently anchored position.z is missing. I don't think I can do... Okay, that's probably just because it's a... Wait, what? Whatever. That shouldn't matter. Okay, well, let's try this again, and I'm going to keep an eye on this. So this time I'm not going to actually maximize on play. Instead, I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm curious if it's actually doing anything. Let's find out, shall we? Because it's not got color rich text tags, so it shouldn't actually be overridden. I'm going to be very... freaking Pro Builder. I'm going to be very annoyed if for like 2 weeks in a row, my own incompetence just prevents me from doing anything productive. I will be very sad. God, I gotta turn that volume down on that thing. So, yeah. No change, huh? Interesting. I wonder why. We're not getting any sort of face change, and we're not getting any sort of color vertex change. It shouldn't be animated, so I'm not entirely sure why it would do that. Let me think. Where else have I done color shifting like this? Because I've definitely done it. Think. Dang it, I can't think of it. I know I've done it, but I can't think of it. All right. Weird. Maybe my color lerp is lerping the wrong colors? No? Start color and end color, both are fairly obnoxiously different. I wonder why it wouldn't work. It was color I have to call like dot set color? And do dot set text. Set vertices dirty. No, that's not what I need. Okay. Well, out of curiosity, then I'm going to do this just to make sure that I'm, debugging the right color. So we're going to do debugging our lerp plus a dash plus, I guess it will be the whole color.lerp thing right here. So that will at least inform me if I'm not doing any sort of actual lerping, which would be quite annoying. I wonder if it's the material. I would think not. Oh my goodness, Pro Builder. Yes, I know. You need an update. Ah, it's gonna drive me crazy. Just every time. It's never gonna stop. And I know that if I close Unity, because I'm willing to bet what that whole window thing is that keeps popping up is Pro Builder didn't save its settings properly until you close Unity. But I bet if I close Unity, it's going to take like 15 minutes for me to re-import everything. Yeah. Okay, so weird. So it should be lerping correctly, but something has to be setting it. Something has to be overriding this to set it to a different color or something. Something totally is doing that. Look at this. I can't even adjust it. Huh. That's interesting. I'm going to try stopping. And for like 2 frames it was correct. So I'm going to leave this as is, so that's a little bit darker basically. I'm curious if this gets set again. Is something else doing it? No. Interesting. But let's try moving this again. It won't update at runtime. Huh. Is it static? No. Huh. This is interesting. Maybe if I add to it. I can't do anything to change it. That's so weird. Huh. Maybe there's a setting or something. Use visible center, enable rich text, bright asset, enable volumetric setup, sorting layer, geometry sorting. Goodness gracious me. Debug setting that I need to do. I can't really adjust the face of the font. It needs to be done here. Huh. I am kind of at a loss here. So TextMesh Pro must be doing something basically to cache this at runtime? Or I guess at startup, and then prevent it from being changed. So it's interesting, if you notice, I'm going to try to show you this real quick. It's going to be really hard to see, and hopefully you can see it on the Devstream. But when we stop playing, I think we get a frame of color change, at least as far as the inspector is concerned. So keep your eye on this color field when I stop playing, which should be about now. You can see that it shifted to gray for just a frame, or like, I don't know, quarter of a second maybe. Interesting. I wonder if it's something to do with the actual text mesh. Does it not like having its colors set up like that then? Is there another setting I can check off? Orthographic, parse escape characters, volumetric, enable rich text. No, I can't. Alright, I'm going to change that to something like a TextMesh Pro UGUI, see if those will change. It's weird that it's storing that information at runtime, because it could mean that I have to actually manually specify a color override. Color tags will override vertex colors unless the override color tags is set. Alright, so let's give that a shot. Labels of I dot override color tags. Is equal to true, I guess. Oh, wait, no, I want it to be false. See if that fixes it. Because I don't really see an option for that here. Oh, there it is, override tags. But that's disabled. So I wouldn't think that we would want that, right? Well, I guess I could try, let's go ahead and try enabling that. I'm curious just to see, I'd just like to see some movement here. I'm just trying to lerp colors on a renderer. This should not be difficult. Weird. That's so weird. Alright, let's give this a shot. For the 5th time. Pro Builder, you're going to drive me insane. So, a little bit of advice. If you're working on your own asset store thing, don't do what Pro Builder is doing right now. Don't keep showing up. Nope, that's not working either. Interesting. I'm going to try something else real quick. I'm going to create a new Text Mesh Pro. Let's see, where are you? 3D Text Mesh Pro text. I'm just going to have it be something basic. Let's come focus up over here. Oh, that's wonderful. It has a broken material. That's great. That's great. That's great. Well, then we're going to have to send that back to 8-bit. All right. I'm going to see if I can lerp this thing at all. Because maybe there was a weird cache setting on these. Who knows? Let's find out. So, color lerp. Come over here. Let's drag this onto this. All right. So now we should be able to see fairly blatantly whether or not that's going to lerp. If it does not, I'm going to be very annoyed. See, that one's lerping. So it must have been some cached setting on those other objects. That's great. Blurp, 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 blurp. Yes! Ha! Okay, weird. So I guess just have to remake the king. Not the end of the world. Just kind of weird. And this is going to be interesting, by the way, because the way animations work in Unity, these keyframes are all string-based. So I actually don't think I need to worry about redoing these because as long as I rename the objects that I remake them into the same thing, it should be fine. So let's go ahead and basically do all that. So we're going to have this be called K. And let's see. We're going to copy pretty much everything from here. So copy component, come down here, paste component values. Looking good so far, except it's a giant F, but we can fix that real quick. Come up here. I actually cannot copy. I'm not going to copy the Text Mesh Pro stuff because that would potentially copy over those issues. So that means I have to do this by hand, unfortunately, which is a little annoying. Come up here, copy, paste this in. I believe our font size is 6. F, looking decent. I'm guessing these are supposed to be centered. Maybe upper. Really? Middle and lower. That's interesting. Okay, whatever works. Updating Unity and all the assets is a full-time job. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I actually probably should look into how to do that update message because I mean it's nice to see it once, but you don't need to keep doing it. But I've been working on a Unity asset store thing for a minimap solution, and it's a monster of an asset in terms of what I've had to work on, but it's very effective. But right now I've just been focusing on a bunch of usability things like user preferences and whatnot. Okay, so that should be good for that. Do I have anything else I need to do here? No, it looks fine. Okay, so let's just duplicate this a couple more times. Have them say their appropriate thing. Blah, blah, blah. Copy and paste. Copy. Paste component values. Copy component. Paste component values. In. Probably should make sure that all of these tags are correct. Good. And last one. Copy component. values and G. Ta-da. Alright, so now I'm going to get rid of these guys. And please tell me I was right. Yes, I was, I think. Alright. I'm going to give this a test run. Let's go ahead and reassign these. And I'm curious to see, one, if the king actually still animates. So we're going to keep an eye on the king to see if he's quote-unquote breathing. I really hope he is, because if so, that's a nice little trick. Ha! Yes! Cool. So, fun fact, or I guess lesson of the day. If you have to delete something and redo it in Unity, as long as it's renamed the same thing, your animations will still work. And moment of truth, moment of truth, moment of truth, moment of truth, moment of truth. No! What the heck? So they don't work. Interesting. Something about the animation has to be driving it then. Huh. That's interesting. What is doing it? Let's see. Do I have anything else that could be storing this? No, I wouldn't think so. Huh. Alright, let me check out, again, our animation. Oh, excuse me. That's so weird. So, is there another animation doing it then? Let's go to director. Maybe I have something in there doing it. Let's see. Actor track group, wizard king animator, here we go. Set bool. No, I'm guessing that's just that. Do I have anything else that could do it? After charge, blast, audio petrification, magic charge, actor track group. I don't know what this is, admittedly. This is an actor track group for the throne collider. Nah. This is for displaying information, and this is for the wizard. Well, this is wonderful. God, this is just like last Tuesday. Small thing that should be really easy is just a roadblock. Oh man, that drives me crazy. There's nothing over here for this though. So it's not like this. Well, no, it's not an animation issue. It can't be. Like, it physically cannot be. Because it's just, I just did the anchors. Something else is doing it. Something else. But I don't know what. Let's see here. Wizard cutscene, do I have anything here? Torches, magic barriers, blah, blah, blah. No. Alia's petrified thing. No, that's nothing. Pipe materials, hints, zone, exit door, secret path. These are all nothing. Nope. Huh. What is referencing you? Let's find out. So the G doesn't work. I'm going to rename this to like GS. If it's an animation, that animation will break and we should get a message. If it's not an animation, then we won't get any message, and instead I'm going to have to delete it to see what it is. Which is a little brutal. Oh, right. Let's collapse this. Do we get any errors or anything? We got nothing out of that. I am going to come up here, though, and... Oops, that was the wrong button. See if we can lerp that G. Because if we can get at least one of them moving... Not open. Then I think we'll be in a good... That's weird. It's highlighting. So G's working. Interesting. I'm going to rename this back to G instead of GS. I would like to know if it will lerp now. This is such a weird issue. Coming up here. Open. Okay. No, it's not. So it is an animation issue. Okay, but I don't know where that animation is. Whatever the animation is, it's not, like, it's not this idle. It can't be. That is incredibly weird. Alright. Fine. Well then. Let's see now. It sucks that I have to reanimate this. I really didn't want to do that. Let's see here. I wonder if I can find... Go ahead and stop playing. Can I find another animator? So T:animator. Here we are. Castle door. Throne door. Wizard. King. Castle. Chest. Armor. Lever. None of those seem like they would be duplicates. Man. That's really weird. Alright. Well, why be bothered by it when I can instead just do this? That's going to break this. We're just going to rename all of this, basically. So K1, I1, N1, and G1. Just to test this, and that means that we're going to do a couple of things. Add property, K1, rect transform. Let's see, we want anchored position. That's so weird that anchored position Z is registered as missing. Come out here, and let's see, what... Oh, dang, the values don't persist. Okay, great. So that means that I have to do this fun thing. Keep this. And basically figure this out. So 1.33. 1.33 and 1.28. Okay. 1.33. 1.28. What is going on here with this, like, jerking motion? What? What? 1.33. Ah, freaking... It was the progrids again. That always gets me. Here we go. 1.28. Alright. So we have this unfortunate sort of replacement stuff that we have to do to make it look right. But, you know, at least we'll be able to lerp the colors after this. So let's see here. We need 0.82, 0.78. 0.82, 0.78. 0.82, 0.78. Alright. Get rid of this. I suppose I should look at the curves, but it's probably fine. I'm guessing it only had easing, if anything. Remove properties. Yeah, sorry, we have to really quickly adjust these animations. I did not intend for that today. 0.41, 0.39. 0.41, 0.39. Anchored position. 0.41. 0.41. And then 0.39. 0.39. Alright. Delete key. No, not delete key, I'm sorry. Remove property. Alright. Now let's see if that actually will work. Oh, crud. Oh, it doesn't really matter. I don't care about that animation anymore because we're lerping that manually. All right, so let's see if this works. It means I have to hunt some. Freaking Pro Builder. It means I have to hunt down whatever was doing that animation stuff. Because it was clear that it was being driven by animations, but I guess let's make sure that this actually starts lerping before I celebrate too much. There we go. Well, that worked out nicely. And notice that if I go back, nothing matters. It stays at at a solid 1 gray. Sweet. Let's go over here to animation. I'm going to go over to petrify, see if I can pull out the color value. Probably not. Real quick, I guess I'm going to change this back to just K. I want this value. Wait, what? There we go. So I need that value, which is, of course, a float value and does not help me at all for my color lerping, does it? Of course not. Alright, let's go ahead and stop. Oh, I guess I should do that, yeah. Now let's stop. Come back up here, call it K1. Not bother with this, go back to idle, hit OK. And, oh, actually I guess I can cheat. Haha! Because that's what it ends up being. Let's come back down here to color lerp. Glad that we got this figured out. And I didn't have to spend, well, I probably spent about 15, 20 minutes on it. Let's see here. Get rid of one of these elements. Don't need that last one. Oh man, that is very disturbing though. It means that I need to find whatever is driving those color values, or at least trying to. Because I have no clue what's doing it. In any case, let's go ahead and come back up to this. And I'm going to say at the end of this update, if cached lerp is greater than or equal to 1f, then we'll call deinitialize. Because if it's at 1, that means that you've reached the end of it and there's no reason for it to stay active. All right. Shazam. I guess I never need to wonder when it's going to be done compiling because this window will keep showing up. You know what? I should just... Give me a second. I can just download that asset real quick. The nice thing about ProBuilder is the way they've structured their asset package is fairly smart. It's just a bunch of Unity packages. So let's go ahead and update, and then I will download it. There. Now you will stop complaining, I hope. So let's go ahead and real quick match this color. Paste. All right. And I guess while we're here, let's go ahead and paste that in here. All right. Oh my goodness. It still did it even though I updated. I guess I haven't updated the actual package. That's fine. I was hoping that would work. Alright. So, I guess I can maximize on play here. let's move back. Still kind of got a gray tint. That's good. If I move forward even more, see that he's practically a gray. If I move back, still at that. Get closer. And then solid gray. Perfect. All right. So that is basically the effect that I was talking about for... Oh, dang it. I should have come in from the side. Go ahead and stop playing. So that makes it feel like no matter what you do, the king's going to be petrified before you get there. And actually that guarantees that that's the case. So the next part is going to be getting the wizard's positioning and particle effects to look convincing, right? I'm not entirely sure what the best word choice is there. But basically, we want to make it obvious that the wizard is the person causing it, most likely via particle effects. So let's see here. We're going to move this into the cutscene, I guess. Turn that off. Come up here. Let's go to... We have a couple of things. Oh, how wonderful. Let's go to Castle Quarters Manager. I don't actually need this anymore, I don't think. Do I? Start. Set bool, session bool, thrown triggered. No, I don't really need to do that. Instead, I guess I should have a function inside of my color lerp that's just going to force all those values to 1. That way, when we load back into the scene, it's not going to be, the king's not going to be unpetrified. He's still going to be gray. So, let's go ahead and say public void force, I don't call it like force initialize, force activate or something. Force activate, and all that's going to be is just this. Get rid of this. Get rid of that line. Don't need it. Get rid of debug. Should be fine for the rest of it. It's just going to be equal to our end color. There we go. So come back up here. Let's go to our Castle Quarter Manager. We're going to add public position color lerping. I guess I'll call it color lerping for now. Ugh, those names are terrible. And let's go back here. I'm going to say instead of king.getModule, blah, 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 we're going to say color lerping dot force activate. There we go. Should have the same effect. Now we need to actually go to our director. And let's see here. So we have the king track, and the king track has one thing that it does, which is set the king's bool. And actually, we do still need that. The only difference now is that there's a giant probe builder window in the scene. Is that instead of is petrified causing a color lerp, that animation actually needs to just basically be a still. So let me come up here to model. Let's go to animation again. Let's go over to petrify. And I'm going to add properties for all of our transforms. So we're going to say anchored position on the eye. It's really frustrating that it sorts them alphabetically here, because it makes king turn into, I guess it'd be what, like nicked, whatever. That would be gicken. Whatever. Let's go ahead and remove these properties. We don't care about them anymore. The only thing that matters here is, and we can actually shorten this pretty nicely. one. All right. And I probably should make sure that it's not set to loop. I don't think it is, but yeah, that's good. Go ahead and save this. So now it's basically just going to make sure that the king isn't doing his breathing animation when he's petrified, but his actual color will be driven by the color lerping script. So back here in director. So this is going to be interesting. So there are some problems right now. I'm going to go ahead and do a run of the or run through of the cutscene. And I guess currently the king's still going to lerp his color. Jeez, Pro Builder, stop it! I get it. So the king's going to lerp his color regardless of the actual cutscene, because I forgot to turn off initialize on start. So he's just going to lerp to gray here, but. Oh, I stopped. That was weird. So, remember that we talked about having the wizard push you back? The problem is that for the wizard to push you back, I need to make sure that he pushes you back that way, towards the door, towards the main hall at that. Because if he doesn't, you could just get like pushed back here. So if he doesn't push you all the way back to this end of the hall, he very easily could push you like into here, into this crevice, and you would just keep getting pushed back. He could push you against the wall, and then you'd get pinned, between the pillar and the wall. And of course, this isn't, I guess, well, actually, it's not a... It's only really a problem because of how we're handling the color lerping right now. Because our color lerping expects you to start down here and then eventually end up over here. I mean, I could change it so that it's just the lerping is handled by your distance from the king, basically. But the problem is, let's say that you're approaching from the right side instead of the front. So, most people are probably going to approach from the front, but obviously, anyone who wants to can approach from the side. And that means that if you get pushed back here, you're just going to get pushed back against the wall. Nothing's going to happen. And you won't be within range of the color lerping. It'll start lerping and it'll say, oh, you're already all the way over there, so it must be 1. And that means that the king would literally just, like, wizard appears, explosion, and then the king would just turn to stone right away. Like, really quickly. So that can't really happen. And we need some way of pushing you back so that you will not get trapped here against these pillars, which seems like it's going to be difficult. They're not exactly cropping out much, but they could, in theory, catch you. So I basically need to make sure that the player is going to get blown back here and end up roughly here. And then we have the other problem. Actually, I didn't even think about this. These guys exist. These poles could also catch you, which would be a great annoyance. So what to do about that? I might have a solution. Maybe. Let's try it. Okay. So I think I'm basically going to make a plow. Just a collider. Right now it's just going to be 2 cubes, but it's just going to be a collider that's sort of like an arrow going up here. And all it's going to do is it's just going to scoop you up and push you back. I'm actually kind of curious to see what that physics interaction looks like. Because I kind of think that you're just going to slide into the center and then get pushed back, and that's not exactly ideal. So I might instead do like a weird, like, almost like a curly bracket or a curly brace shape, just so that it makes sure that you never get stuck on these candelabra or the corners. I don't know. Let's try it. I'm curious. I feel like this is actually going to work way worse than I think it will, but you never know. So we're going to do a new game object. Let's move you out to here. Put you up here. And then we're just going to make 2 cubes. So 3D object, cube. Let's come up here, focus on it. And I'm going to make it super wide and super tall, but kind of thin. I guess it doesn't really matter, honestly, but let's see. So not X. I'll shorten that to like 0.5, I guess. The Z or the Y, let's make it 10. And the Z will also make it 10. Probably needs to actually be 20. Let's turn off the mesh renderer. Alright. And then I'm going to rotate this. I guess we'll also position it up by like 4. Yeah, that looks fine. Let's rotate it so it's like 45 degrees. That should be fine. I might shallow that, maybe like 30. Alright, and we're going to put that there. So let's duplicate that. I'm going to reverse all those values basically. So negative 30 for our rotation. So this is what it's going to look like now. Oh, I guess I need to position them a little bit closer, don't I? Let's do negative 8.5 and then 8.5. 8.5. Yeah, it's fine. There's a little bit of overlap, but again, this is just a test to see if it'll even work. I don't think this will break anything. It should just move the player. A lot of objects, basically every object in the game is a trigger. It's not actually using physics in terms of gravity and calculations and all that. So this should only catch the player and push them back. I'm curious to see what happens. So let's move this up here. And this is going to be kind of weird. I'm going to stick another object here. This is going to be the parent for the cubes. I call this collider. Or collider, because I apparently can't spell collider. And then I'm going to rename this plow. Don't really have a better name for it. Alright, we're going to have a quick test case here for our script. So we're going to create C# script. Wizard plow. I don't know what else to call it. Playing fast and loose with all of our scripts tonight. So the idea is going to be once the wizard shows up, this thing is just going to move in and push you back, I guess. And anytime you get close to the wizard, it will happen again. So let's go ahead and say, let's position this in text quest. We're going to have public transform start point, public transform endpoint, public float speed, which I'm guessing should probably be something like 5. Probably going to be 5 meters per second. Might be 10. We'll find out. And then let's go ahead and say public void start plow. Then we're going to have private void update. Come up here, say private bool is active is equal to false. So similar setup to what we did for the color lerping. We're going to say if is active. Then we're going to do stuff. Start plow will say is active is equal to true. Alright, then we're going to say, I guess we need a cached value, don't we? So we're going to say private float lerp is equal to 0f. Start plow will also set lerp to be equal to 0f again. And then we're just going to say, I probably need a transform for this. So we're going to say public transform plow. And then we'll just say, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to say plow dot position is equal to vector3 dot lerp between start point dot position and end point dot position based on lerp. All right. And then we're going to say lerp plus equals speed times time dot delta time. That won't work. We need to do it the other way. So this needs to be a duration, I suppose, for the sake of convenience. So divide that by speed. Rename this to duration. And I'm going to shorten that to like 3 then, in that case. And that should basically be what we need it to do. We just need to have something call this. So I'll probably need a companion script that's just going to be equipped on the wizard that says when the player enters this trigger, push them back. So let's go ahead and write that real quick. Once ProBuilder gets its window back up, of course. Create C# script. I'm going to call it wizard plow trigger. Oh, these names. I kind of want to make something in the game that's actually a wizard's plow. I don't know what it would be. I can't imagine the scenario, but I really want to do that now. Come on. I believe in you, Unity. There we go. Okay, and all this is going to do is just say private void on trigger enter. Oops. Collider call. Make this in text quest. Capital T. Then I'm going to have a public wizard plow on trigger enter. I suppose we'll also do this real quick. So public string player tag is equal to player. Pretty sure that I have the tag attribute in here. Hold on. Using sleepyal.common tag. Good, I did. That's just a little attribute that lets the tag actually, or this string actually hook into the tag system. Makes it a lot easier to use tags. So we're going to say if col.compare tag, player tag, plow dot, I was going to say plow dot plow. I think it's just plow dot start. Plow dot start plow. There we are. All right, that should be good. Let's go ahead and save that. Move that up, and let's get everything hooked up. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to. Well, we were gonna disable that anyway. So let's go ahead and turn off the whole wall scaling stuff. So let's go to magic wall, and I wonder if I can disable that just by turning that off. Oh, I can. That's actually kind of cool. All right. So we're going to turn that off. So the wall now should no longer show up. Instead, we're going to drive all of that based on our new plow system. Our high-tech wizard plow system. Alright, so we have plow. Let's go ahead and get our start and end points in there. So start and end. Alright, well end is definitely going to be way down here. Start is, that's probably fine. Let's go ahead and hook those up. So start and end points, speed or duration of 3 should be fine. And the last thing we need is a trigger. Could I make it on the wizard? I think I can. So maybe. This is probably going to be a little weird, but I think it'll be fine. So I'm going to turn on physics. We'll make it a sphere collider, and it'll be a trigger. This is going to be super weird, just so you're aware. We'll give it a Y of 1 and a radius of, I'm going to say like 5. It's got to be pretty big. Alright. And that's going to be the wizard plow trigger that will hook into plow. Alright. Let's give this a shot. So Also, just out of curiosity, I am going to put in a debug here. Not really curiosity so much as making sure that it will fire. Or that it is firing. Oh, well there's the Pro Builder window. That must mean we're done compiling. Let's go ahead and try this out. I actually completely forgot something. Part of the wizard plow. If lerp is greater than or equal to 1f, public void stop plow. Plow.position is equal to start point.position. Stop plow. And then is active is equal to false, obviously. That would have been annoying. I would have just been constantly pushed against the wall. Alright. Go ahead and let that go. Hit play. Alright, so this should be a hopefully decent test of this concept. We might need to speed it up. 3 seconds is really fast, though. Then again, it takes 4 seconds to sprint across it, so it's probably going to feel kind of slow. So let's open. Keen turning to stone here. Oh god! That was okay. Let's see if it happens again. It's happening again. I feel like I get stuck on his collider, though. Like, there's another collider or something. Oh, jeez! It's hard to explain, like, feels like I'm hitting some other type of collider. Maybe I have another one enabled. Hold on. Let's take a look at this. Do I have anything? Not the asset start director. Let's see. Enable position casting wizard group. Enable. Huh. All right. Let's go ahead and let's play through that again. 3 seconds is apparently super fine because that was not at all. It did not feel slow. I guess I should also try to basically activate it and then run to the side to see what that looks like. See if I can catch on the side of the wall. Okay, so I'm gonna come up here. There's not a collider there, so oh jeez, and we're getting pushed back. Maybe there is a wall. Oh god. Well, the funnel effect kind of works. No, yeah, it keeps pushing you. Okay. So yeah, that actually works really well. It's really hard to get to the edge. It just keeps pushing you. So in theory, yes, that would work. Also, I bet I know what that collider is. Why do I keep going to the asset store? I'm used to having this up here. I don't know why it's down there. I'm guessing casting blah 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 blah. Throne collider. That's why. Let me turn this off. I added a collider for like a box collider around the throne in an attempt to prevent the wall from launching you into the sky, but clearly that didn't actually work. So who knows? Let's go ahead and I'm going to try one more time to get caught on the edge, see if I can do it. Because in theory, there's probably going to be at least one person who gets caught on the edge and gets sort of like physics squeezed until they launch into the air. In theory. because that always happens, at least once. Okay, this is gonna be tricky. There, I think I did it. Did I? Surely I did there. Dang it, I made it too small. Ah, dang it. Okay, I gotta like run up and swing by him, and it's so close. It might just not be possible. It's certainly not possible once he goes to the center. Although it's, yeah, whatever. All right. So as a proof of concept, that actually works fairly well. It just means that we need to figure out how to smooth that out a little bit more. So I'm going to try reducing the angle a little bit on it. Let's go ahead and come down here. We're going to set our collider. So instead of 30, let's make it something a little less aggressive, like 10, maybe. And then negative 10. Come up here. That should work. Let's see what that ends up looking like. Pro Builder. Because I had to have some sort of difficulty when doing this stream. Alright. There it is. I moved within it. Okay. So, not bad. Swinging up. I cannot get... Yeah, I can't wedge myself. At least not easily. Oh. Dang it. Almost did it that time. I'm going to try to catch on one of the candelabra. It's so hard. Dang it. Okay, let's try that again. I think that's actually fine. So I like that, and I like the concept of getting, pushed back constantly. So now all we need to do to make it actually feel right is we need a visual, and we could probably kind of just do a quick effect to test that. So let's go ahead and turn on our mesh renderers again, and I'm going to give their materials the magic wall material. Let's see. There it is. Now, does that look right? That's the question. Well, it doesn't look great, but it's something. So we'll go ahead and use it. Let's see. Go ahead and close that. So now we'll actually have a visual with our sort of pushing. Of course, that means we'll have to figure out a satisfying way for it to show up instead of what it's going to do right now, which is clipping through the wall. Like some sort of terrible 1990s admin. Let's go ahead and let's go. Yes, the magic wall clearly does surround the king. Oh, jeez. Oh no, I moved too fast. So that was one of my concerns, was that you would move too fast to do it. Jeez. It is kind of scary how it just comes belting out of the wall. Come on, get caught, get caught. Dang it. So, I don't know if I feel too strongly about players possibly being caught on these. Because it could be an interesting speedrunning tactic, leaving that open for people who want to speedrun the game. I know that's a weird thing to consider for an adventure game, but, I I like speedrunning, so I'm always sort of trying to sneak in speedrunning strategies. Um, let's see. Was that a clipping? I think I saw some camera clipping. Maybe not. Maybe I was just crazy. All right. So we have sort of the rough layout. We have the rough idea of the king, having his color lerped and then having something keep pushing you back. And from there, it's all about presentation. So how do we want to visually represent the effect of it pushing you away? How do we visually want to represent the arrival of the wizard, and so on and so on. So let's see. It's 8:50. I'm not sure if we have enough time for anything super crazy. What else could we do to test all this? So we have going through my sort of design that I laid out early on the stream. So we get pushed back. We have the color lerping for when you get up there. Obviously, I need to hook those up in sequence so that you get pushed back and then it does the color lerping. And that also means that we need to sync up the wizard's animations basically with that. Man, this is going to be super weird. Because there's to keep pacing, or to keep the pacing of the scene fairly brisk, we actually need to have the wizard start doing stuff regardless of if you get close to them. So obviously the whole cutscene triggers when you get close to the king, but the pushback from the wizard almost needs to happen independent of that closeness. And once it happens, let's say you do somehow get caught on this, then we need the wizard to, one, constantly push you away if you try to get close, and two, even if you don't try to get close, he still probably needs to do his thing. And by do his thing, I mean play out the cutscene, and then disappear. So that means that we have to figure out a way basically to keep, or to sync the wizard's animations with your positioning unless you don't do anything, in which case he needs to continue on regardless. So that's going to be interesting. That might be a thing for a later episode. Let's see, what do I need to sort of think about while off of the Devstream, obviously, to get this all functioning a little bit better. I probably need to figure out, because right now in terms of the push away, we do need to make sure that the push away goes back this way instead of left or right or whatever direction. It needs to push you back to the end of the hall, which it does right now. Which means that visually it has to weirdly kind of expand out of him and then push away. So I'm thinking sort of a wall type affair that just shoots out and then scoops you, kind of, for lack of a better term. But the tricky part there is that once it does that, it's basically going to have to fire anytime you get to this position. No matter where you are, left or right, it should fire as soon as you get to the end of this carpet, probably, to keep pushing you back. Because the closer you are to him when it pushes you away, the weirder it's going to look. And oh man, in the midst of all of this, we're going to have the text at the bottom telling you what's going on. Okay. That's going to be nuts. Oh yeah, and speaking of text at the bottom of the screen, we also need to apply text effects to that to emphasize certain words, like the petrified king should probably be in gray or something. Small stuff like that. Oh man, yeah, this is gonna be a good project for about a week, I'm guessing, until we get it to a good spot. So that's probably a decent place to end the stream for today. So we'll pick this back up on Tuesday next week. I will try to think up basically a couple of different ways that we can present everything. In addition to maybe doing a little bit of scripting on the side to try and get things in order, so we can actually hit the ground running next Tuesday. Get any modeling I need done. Next time we'll probably also try to tackle the lag issue, or the hiccup from these magic objects being turned on. And to show you that it is those magic objects real quick, I'm going to go ahead and turn off their director. So let's see here. We have wizard group, enable, wizard transform, king. Oh, you know what? It's probably not actually this. It's probably just done in our actual manager. So I'm going to come up here to Castle Quarters Manager. Let's go up here. Let's see, we have magic barriers. Find all references. On throne triggered. Here we are. Start, and is that also start? No? Okay. I'm going to turn off this for each loop. Comment it out. Alright. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright. So now when we play that cutscene and the wizard actually shows up, we shouldn't have a noticeable hiccup. Like it shouldn't sort of stick for about half a second. If it does, that means that something else is actually doing that. So that's going to be interesting, and I really hope that that's not the case. We'll find out. If ProBuilder lets us. Here, open up. And interesting, it's not that. It's something else. Some other thing is causing that. Huh. Well, that's interesting. So, I wonder what it is. Well. Huh. Excuse me. Yeah, ProBuilder just needs attention. Well, that's certainly a way to say that. I'm actually kind of curious to see what else would cause that hiccup. Surely it's not an audio thing, is it? No, I wouldn't think so. But out of curiosity, I'm going to try not playing the sector audio as well. And if that still has a hiccup, I'm going to try not playing the cutscene. And if that causes the hiccup, playing the cutscene, that's not going to be great. Alright, let's try this again. What I really need is for Unity 2017 to come out. Okay, there we go. So let's try turning off the cutscene as well. Because with Unity 2017, I can use the new sequencer tool, or timeline tool. Sorry, sequencer is Unreal. Because from what I've played with sequencer, or not sequencer, timeline, in the beta, it's actually really fun. I actually rather enjoy the timeline tool. It's somewhat clunky, but it's interesting. Yeah, and I mean, that's the main thing that I want from 2017. Interesting. So, I'm going to try turning on global illumination and all that. And just not playing the cutscene. And if that's the case, then ew. Gross, gross, gross. It means that something about cinema director is not super great. But yeah, have you messed around with the beta at all, Garrett? It should actually be pretty close to its release. I think it's supposed to launch in June, and we're already halfway through that. Maybe they pushed it back to July. I know originally it was supposed to be June, though. And they're on beta 9, I believe. And it does have some workflow changes, like the preview mode and animations. Let's see. Oh my goodness. So that hiccup is from the cutscene. Huh. Well, apparently I just didn't know what I was talking about earlier when I said it was the global illumination. I just assumed it was. Wow, that is not great. Hey. Well, let's figure out what exactly in the cutscene is doing that then. So let's turn this back on. You consider the 0.0 releases to be beta. They're dangerous enough. 560 on an SDI bug that cost me hours of pain. Fixed in 561. Yeah, that's true. To be fair, they have gotten a lot better at that. I mean, do you remember? I think it was 5.3, like the whole 5.3 debacle, where just 5.3 was the buggiest thing that ever existed. It ruined projects basically, and that's why 5.4 took, I think, half a year to come out of beta, because they were just like, nope, we gotta overcompensate. So that's a wise policy. I don't disagree that the 0.0 releases are kind of like a beta. But at the same time, they're usually pretty good at patching extreme problems. I don't know. I wouldn't say that early 5X entirely was bad. Like 5.0 seemed fine, and 5.1 and to a certain degree 5.2 was fine. It's just that 5.3 was just, it broke things. So many things. And I don't think anyone expected that. Did you ship 1D on 5.3.6? Anyway, so I'm going to try, let's see, what seems like it would be the most intense thing. Let's turn, that would be my cat, playing with her toy. Let's see. Because there is almost nothing to start, which is really annoying. So it's just like the initial allocation of whatever resources are needed for this cutscene. Enable when cutscene does not have track groups added, removed during playtime. Well, it doesn't. Huh. Yeah, there's almost nothing being done right away. So this is rather perplexing. There's basically only two things that happen to start. The magic wall, which is now actually, I can turn that off. It doesn't actually need it. And then this, the display text. Jeez, really. I'm going to open up the profiler. Let's see here, window, profiler. Where are you? There we are. I would like to know what's happening. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. We're doing fairly well overall on the CPU. We're getting about 60 on average. Seems like we get random spikes, which are a little odd. Seem to have something to do with object interactions. Now I'm getting on average about 100, almost 200 frames. We get occasional spike, again, don't know what. Looks like the garbage collector, which is probably not great. Yeah, we're easily up to 120 frames again. Then we get a garbage collection, which spikes it down. So I'm going to now run into this. Okay. So to show you, this is that spike. Physics. Physics has a 98% CPU time there. Or I guess that's just the total amount of that. And it's that huge spike there is scripts, I think. Yeah, almost 500 milliseconds. That is half a second. Jeez. On what looks like garbage collection, yep, and scripts. Wow. That is crazy. So we get a little bit on here, not much. I mean, physics-wise, I'm not really doing much. Memory certainly shouldn't be a problem. But the garbage collector totally is. Huh. Yeah, calling the trigger, yeah. I get that with mouse down and other input events that started a chain of CPU work. Yeah. It's interesting though. Yeah, deep profiling. I gotta remember how to do that. Probably need to run it again though, don't I? Alright, I'm gonna move this back over and then we're gonna take a look at this. See what this ends up looking like. Oops. A second, I gotta shrink it so I can keep an eye on the chat. Alright, so we have deep profile turned on. Let's go ahead and run this again. I really do need to do an optimization pass on the game. It's not optimized at all. Like I haven't even really tried. Well, I've tried in the sense that I've been mindful about it when creating assets. But beyond that, I have not even tried. Okay. So I'm going to let the profiler go for a second here. We're up to 100 frames right now, almost 200 frames in some cases, so we're fluctuating between that. Seems to be on average like 150-ish. We get a couple of spikes every now and then. Okay, so now I'm gonna move into this. Oh God! It froze longer, which I'm assuming is for deep profiling. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we got 2 spikes actually. 3,000 milliseconds? Oh my goodness. 3 whole seconds. Oh man, that is... I can't even see what that frame rate is. It's got to be like 1. Okay. Um, yeah. Let's see here. It's still confusing though that physics is somehow still 99% of that. Um, and 12 megabytes of memory? Is that it? No. Yeah, I'm getting like 140. Or I'm sorry, 140. 1.5 gigabytes. Huh. Oh, you mean, well, that's audio. Yeah, where are you seeing 12 megabytes for memory? Physics is still kind of nothing. So like physics, video, and audio are basically nothing. That's fine. Um, oh, GC allocation. That is probably because of the garbage collection that happened. This is actually a problem that I have. You'll notice that the garbage collection kind of constantly goes up until we hit a peak and then it crashes down again. So it's I need to do better with garbage in general. That is something that I was not very good at keeping sort of a tab on. Um, let's see here. So is that the garbage collector firing again? No. What? Wait, no. Was it? It was. Okay, so the garbage collection happened there too, but again, it's kind of minor compared to everything else. Geez, that spike is just so massive. Uh, and we know that it has to do something with director, but for some reason it still says that that's practically nothing. It's saying that it's all related to physics, and I cannot believe that. It is in cutscene.play. Mono behavior, start coroutine. God, drilling down. We're getting some pretty bad lag here. Setup coroutine. Fresh play. Got some more coroutines getting started. Jeez, is it just like nested coroutines all around? It's in cutscene.optimize. So turning off optimization would actually make it more optimized? Here we go, we're finally getting some splitting. Jeez, that's crazy. So, yeah. Timeline track, get timeline items from optimize pulls a hefty amount. Maybe if I turn off optimize, that won't happen. Track group, get allowed track types. Oh, geez, this is very annoying trying to drill down into this because of the amount of lag. And it's always like the top option here. Okay. Oh, good. Reflection. It's called 273,000 times. Is that how many times it's called in this frame? I would assume yes. Huh. So that's part of the problem, I'm assuming. Oh yeah, and I'm seeing the 12 megabytes of memory allocation now. Not bad, I guess, but if it's treated as that sort of like per frame, that's not great. Um, although I don't think it's that. Still though. Wow, timeline track get allowed cutscene items. Director runtime helper get allowed item types. Get all subtypes again. Jeez. I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing. Reflection helper dot is subclass of. Oh my god, it's clicking. It's so laggy right now. Yep, the whole is subclass thing. Okay. Um, I'm going to. Oh dear, that might not work. Oh no. Oh dear. It's too laggy. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to drag this back over. I'm going to try turning off optimize cutscene. And then we're going to see if the spike is nearly as bad. Yeah, so that's clearly a problem if it's calling it nearly 300,000 times per frame. That would explain why we have a spike. And that is not ideal. My goodness. I feel like I'm chopping along. I don't know if that looks wrong to you guys on the stream, but it's definitely choking me, and I'm guessing that's because of the deep profiling going on. There we go. Now we're getting up to 100 frames. Okay, let's try this again. Nope. Alright, so here's what it is now. Don't be 3,000, don't be 3,000. Well, it's it's still pretty bad. Huh. So, oh boy. So it's still going to be all this fun stuff. So Cinema Director is the cause of that hiccup, and it is horrendous. And keep in mind that we're hitting a when we're not deep profiling, we're hitting like a 1 second hiccup. That is on my monster tower. When it's on my laptop, I think it's actually like a 3, 4, maybe 5 second hiccup, and that is beyond unacceptable. So, yeah. Jeez. It's also really annoying that we have these like nested start coroutines going on. Jeez. Hold on. By disabling optimize, we moved all of the processing into optimize. That makes even less sense. That's so weird. So when we had it checked off to optimize the cutscene, it basically split it in half evenly between, well, not evenly, a little bit more towards optimize, between cutscene.optimize and cutscene.initialize. But now cutscene.initialize is like nothing. It's like practically non-existent comparatively. Oh no, I lied. Maybe it was just this split between timeline track.optimize and timeline or in track group.get tracked. Okay, so maybe that didn't change. So that's weird. Having optimize on and enabled is actually less performant than not having it on. Jeez. All right. I will have to dig into this. Um, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I can update. I'm not sure if there's a newer version. If there is, it might be worth checking out. Maybe they fixed this. Because this is rather frustrating. As I'm sure you can guess. Especially it's very annoying to try and deep profile this because, God, it takes forever. And we're getting into like thousands of calls here. Yeah, 328,000 times. How much this class or this function reflection helper dot is subclass of is called. So that's not great. It just keeps going. Oh wow, 656,000 times. Finally hit the bottom. Yep. 656,000 calls. That probably puts a little bit of dent in the CPU. Okay. So I'm going to look into that. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, right. I can't do anything while I'm actually selected here. Give me a second. We got our prerequisite lag here. So I'm going to look into that, see if maybe there's a newer version I can update to, see if that fixes it. And if not, then I'll have to dig around and see if anyone else has run into this problem with Cinema Director, because that is pretty unacceptable. Having a 30,000 millisecond hang. So, man, that is crazy. What is this like ghosting effect? Is that the native memory? No? What are you? Scripts? Yes, but there's two colors of it. That's weird. Maybe that's the deep profiling. I don't know. So yeah, that's a. I was gonna say a good place to stop for the night, but I guess it's technically closer to say it's a place to stop for the night. Um, so next Tuesday we will continue on, and hopefully I'll have a little bit more information about that actual issue. I'm not entirely sure what would cause that, because again, it didn't used to do that. So either way, that's clearly an issue that I have to fix. And I'm probably going to have to fix it without updating to 2017. Yay! So, is there anything else I really can think of? No. So, like I was saying, we should be back finishing this up hopefully on Tuesday. We might actually end up finishing up next Thursday, but we'll keep working on this through next week probably. Should be on schedule for this Saturday's Devstream to do some more custom content creation stuff. So if you're interested, be sure to tune in for that. Any other announcements? Not right now. Convention season is starting, so I'm going to be traveling soon, but that's probably in the next month or so, and that should be pretty fun. But we'll see how that turns out. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.